So today we're going to be talking about the 7700 atomizer gun. I got John here with me, and if you ever feel like air maybe touching your fingers or leaking out of the gun, this is something that you may run into. Now, if you don't clean your gun good enough, you can get overspray built up on the valve stem, and there's a little gasket, inside there, a seat that will pop out, and all of a sudden you'll be spraying, you'll feel air like hitting your hand. Now, Apollo has created a simple little tool to help resolve that problem. So John, can you, if you run into this issue and you feel air touching your fingers, leaking out of the gun, can you explain to us what is going on, how to resolve it? It's really simple of how to fix this problem.
It's a lot simpler now that we have that tool, for
yeah,
sure.
And so you kind of created this real amazing tool. Before, you had to use like a number 2 pencil or something to poke this little gasket in there. So This is incredible that you've created this tool. It's available. How does it work, and show us what the problem is?
Okay, so as you said, Chris, the problem is I'm pulling the trigger, and when I pull the trigger, I'm feeling air, usually on the front of my fingers. And what's happening is there's a seal inside the back of the gun right here, and this valve is going back and forth as you pull and release the trigger. But over time, you can get a buildup of overspray on the front part of the valve only. And what happens is when that gets big enough, it'll actually grab the seal and pull it into the spray gun. So when I disassemble the spray gun, when I pull the valve out, the whole valve will have that part, the seal, stuck to it just like that.
So it's this seal right here that
so
we're talking about.
This is the valve stem bushing, and it's usually the front part of this valve stem that's sticking out into the environment that you're spraying in. And so with just a little bit of overspray floating around, it sticks to this part here, and eventually it just pulls this part into the gun. So the easy fix is to slide the part off. Usually that's intact. You don't need to do anything to it. And then before you put it back together, make sure you clean the front part of the valve. So I usually take some acetone on a rag or something and just wipe it off so it's nice and smooth and nice and clean. Then the fun part used to be putting this little guy back into the gun, because you basically have to deal with dropping it through the inside of the gun and try to get it in. So I used to sit there with the needle like this, and I'd be sitting there trying to drop it in, and then I'd take the air valve and try to push it around, and that was, it was really fiddly. And so we came up with this new tool, and all you do is just insert the bushing onto the end of the tool like this, and it's designed so that it sits right into the gun. The diameter of the tool itself is designed perfectly for the gun. Right. The inside diameter of the gun. So when you push this in, it's going to shove that bushing right into the slot, into the seat where it sits. So all I do is just push on it, twist it a couple of times, pull my tool back out, and the valve bushing is already reinserted.
So do I need to clean that bushing or lubricate that bushing?
Not the bushing itself.
Okay.
What I usually do is I obviously want to clean all the overspray off the valve before you put that back on there. And then I do sometimes put a little bit of lubrication on the front. So that would be sometimes another spot to put a little bit of lube on if you're finding that you're getting a lot of overspray buildup on there. You don't want to use regular oils or anything like that, even on the outside of the gun, because anything on your gun has risk of contamination, and oils have petroleum in it, and petroleum with water-based particularly is a big problem. So always use acetone. That's why I said acetone. And I clean off the valve stem with the acetone, and then just a little bit of lubrication on there. It'll allow the valve then to naturally slide nice and freely through the bushing itself.
Yeah, I gotta say, that's one of the major differences between Apollo and other spray companies. When you guys have an issue and customers have complaints, you guys listen, you resolve the problems, you try to make it simple, you try to make it easy, and I gotta say, that's awesome. Really appreciate that. So there you have it, how to resolve air leaking out of your gun. Questions, comments below. If this has helped you in any way, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, or John a thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up would actually be cool. We'll see you right here next time on Paint Life TV. Out.